Are you around?
Okay, sorry about that commentary mix-up.
No worries.
I'm Victorus, and this is Strizer here with me, and we have our runners going into Elect Stage here. Elect Stage, we get the most important item of the game, the Magnet Beam, and that's why in this category that allows glitches, we try to get the Magnet Beam as fast as possible, so we're even going to glitch in to get it. But can everybody hear me okay now? Alright, so KLM has come up to the scariest little bit. He's got this corner jump to do. He got it second try. He failed it in the best way to fail it, where you just kind of jump back as opposed to fall down through the screen transition. Orrsa got it first try, so he's making a little bit of time up.
It happened.
Okay, so it's the moment of truth here for KLM on this next screen. So he's got to do this one frame trick to grab the ladder. He's got to fire and push down at the same frame and face the correct direction and then hit up, and he kind of zips into the wall. And then he has to do some pretty fast movements on the D-pad to exit the wall in order to grab the to get the magnet beam. But if he went too far into the wall, he would have, or out of the wall to get the beam, he would have been stuck in that little box, and that's no fun for anybody to watch.
Call that ND jail.
The ND jail. It does soft lock the game. There's absolutely no way to get out of it unless you happen to go to guts first, which they didn't. So you'll see each runner do a slightly different use of beams in this level. It's very vertical. Every screen transition except for going into the corridor is vertical, so it's just a lot of climbing. And so the beam definitely makes climbing a lot faster, because climbing the ladder is one of the slowest bits of movement you have in this game.
Waiting for these beams right here, it just takes forever.
Yeah, anything cycle-based when you're speedrunning isn't fun, so skipping cycles on the climb here is very nice.
Through a third issue, Orrsa needs to watch out just because of his health.
Alright, so now we're entering Ice Stage, which has some of the more famous zips.
See which zips the runners opt to go for. I expect both of them to try for each at least a little bit, but I don't think they'll spend too much beam in fear of not being able to get over the gaps at the end.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to try to set up a zip here like KLM. He's a pixel or two high, so he won't be able to zip here. Being too low is better, because he couldn't even jump on that beam he just laid because he was too high. If he was too low, he would at least been able to walk on it and stay out of the water. You walk at like 75% speed on the water. KLM sets up this ice pixel zip. First try, very good use of beam. So Orrsa's going to look for this very particular pixel, and then so he can set up a zip beam, and then zip through a screen wrap, and then buffer a beam placement, and he gets sub-pixeled. Oh, that hurts. So he didn't manipulate his sub-pixel, and usually if you don't do that, it's not a big deal, but he just got unlucky, and he wasn't able to jump through the next screen transition. So even though he did set up the zip, he doesn't get the benefit of it at all.
I'm a little bit surprised he opted to use one of the beams on that second set of Yoku blocks, mainly because I would have thought he would have opted to have two beams to get over this section, but he safely got across the platform, so it wasn't any worry. They can just be a little bit trolly.
Yeah. Trolly and completely out of your control. So the other glitch you're obviously seeing is the select glitch, where you can actually run the iframe timer without actually running the in-game timer by hitting select, and so the boss will lose his iframes in the same amount of time, but since the beam doesn't move because the in-game time isn't progressing, the beam will stay in the hitbox.
Should just anyone that can beat MM1 without using that. Zips as well. They've kind of come a long way. You know, there's a few different options that you can use in terms of fire zips. We'll see if KLM's going to be going for the screen wrap up top. Yeah.
That's surprising. I always like to throw at least one try at it, because with the two big jugs here, you know, you have a lot of ammo in the stage. But he's probably going to opt to save them for the corridors. So he's setting up the most dangerous zip, in my opinion. Is he uses the ladder, which is a little... it makes it a lot more foolproof. But there's a weird mechanic with ladders in this game where you can grab a ladder at the bottom from the top of the screen. And when you set it up on a certain pixel, he was actually able to trigger the screen transition to go up, and so he's on this like invisible ladder, and setting up a zip under the floor for that, which is it saves a significant amount of time, because if you look at the switchback that they're zipping under, like it's crazy how you have to walk back and forth like that. It's I don't know the exact time save, but it's very noticeable.
The significant thing to note about that zip, two things of note. Of course, you can get hit by an enemy and you can drop down and you can die instantly. But even before that, if you jump up and you do the actual screen wrap ladder grab incorrectly, you can be doomed to begin with. You can actually grab the ladder on the next screen on a pixel in which it doesn't matter how you execute, you are going to fall immediately regardless.
Yeah, luckily there's a visual cue, so you know not even to waste your beam. Just if you do that in a race, just kill yourself and just try again, because you'll need every amount of beam to try again, or every little bit of ammo you have. But that's one of the frustrating things when you're first learning this game, is you'll die on that zip and have no idea why. And every runner's gone through it too. Just like, I keep dying, don't know why, no one's telling me why.
Guilty.
So there. so here in Bomb Stage, it's considered to be pretty easy. I've never enjoyed it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's got this really big zip. I think this is the biggest time save zip of the 6 robots. Is the one KLM is trying to set up here. He tries to set up with an ice pixel setup, but then he opts to use the ladder after he doesn't get it the first try. Which is kind of a good compromise, because it does save a lot of time not to cross the room back over, but it doesn't help if you waste all your beams just trying to set it up on the right side. He's going to get a tiny little zip towards bomb.
Yeah, they're both having a pretty good run through the 6 rover regardless, though, which is nice.
Yeah, just that minor setback in ice for Orrsa, and other than that, they've been, you know, right on pace with probably where they expect. This race is going very well for both runners.
Bomb zip as well. You can get, I believe it's subpixeled with the actual beam placement, so a lot of runners, they'll place a second or third beam for that initial one that they're going to stand on, because if you go above it and you go to drop down, the beam actually won't be touching the ladder and it'll drop down right onto the spikes. A safety beam, if you will, placed on top.
Ooh, KLM catches the early bus there. That was very dangerous. And it looks like he's got the impossible. No, he's a pixel low for the impossible zip.
I was worried he was going to die there for a moment on the platform, but when he jumped above the screen.
So almost all of the time for the early magnet beam grab comes into play in this stage, because you have beam in this stage where you normally wouldn't, and so they're saving all the time of not riding these platforms and any zips they set up. You know, those are the real time saves, and I think it gets optimally you can save 15 seconds on the early beam grab. Like, even if they don't get any zips, it still saves time because they don't have to ride those silly platforms.
Bonus.
And the booty grab for KLM.
Stuffing things on the Guts First for Life Orrsa with the nice corridors that went for a second one, but one was better than that.
Seems Orrsa's made up some time since ice. The race is really close at this point, I think.
My mom is a notoriously annoying weapon.
Yeah, the bombs take, I think, 4 seconds to explode. And so if you don't get Gutsman in one bomb, it's a terrible time loss. And it's pretty hard to do, depending on... Because he can jump forward, backward, or straight up. And you have to be good at placing a bomb where it wouldn't matter where he jumps. And that's a very particular jump, or particular placement. So KLM did not do the first room zip in Wily 1. We'll see if Orrsa goes for it.
It's a risky zip. I don't know much about it myself, but I believe if you zip too quickly, you'll actually die instantly.
Yeah, for some reason. Yeah, but that's correct. You do have to, like, for some reason, delay your zip on the zip beam. Another reason it's risky to go for is because it uses ammo in a Wily stage, and you don't regain the ammo at the end of the stage, so it changes your whole dynamic in the late game about where to use beams.
think KLM did is it the Cartina menu? That's what that's called? When he switches to a left when he does the jump. I know there's a name for it.
Oh, I've never heard it with the term. We'll see if he goes for the streamline kill, though. And he does. It takes 2 beams, but he was alternating with start and select there to basically melt his iframes. I don't really know the mechanics of it, but it does get a quicker kill on the Yellow Devil.
It was very nicely done. Here, see if we get a little bit of an accurate idea of how far apart everyone is. Both of them are.
So I doubt either runner is going to go for the Wily 2 refight skips. Just because it's a potential soft lock and it's pure luck. There is no avoiding subpixels. There are no known way of doing that. So he makes quick work Cut Man. That fight can go awry pretty easily if you just get a little too close to Cut Man. He jumps when you don't expect him to. I think he's a lot harder in Wily 2 than he is in the fighting him in his stage. Very smooth Cut fight as well. Or elect fight with Cut. Alright, we'll see. He does he's doing the Nadua fall here. So he grabbed that ladder just like he did for the early beam grab. He's falling, and there's invisible spikes in this room that could kill him, but he got out of the wall and was able to wrap the screen.
Very clean on his part. I mean, first try, doesn't waste time. No harm in going for it, unless, of course, you die. But
yeah. He got a little bit unlucky. He did get a subpixel that caused him to exit the wall at the top, so he had to do a switchback. But he saved time over not trying it at all, for sure. And Orrsa's having like 3 tries to get on the ladder. That's not too bad. This is the screen with the spikes. He gets the wrap, and so see if he falls. He fell all the way to the bottom. That's the way the zip needs to be done, ideally.
A little bit of time counts. It's close.
So, Wily 3 is always a crowd pleaser. Okay, so he's going for a 2 beam setup. So he waits till this room and he puts a beam there, uses a buffer beam to get into the wall here, and does this nice long zip by mashing start. And so we're going to see how many dupes we get. He'll probably menu straight to guts. Like, it's a little safer if you just are terrible at guts to buster down a few of them. But after a while, you start thinking, I should just always go for dupes.
Well, and ultimately, the point that has been made is the last ones move a lot quicker, so ultimately they're a little bit faster to kill with Buster. If you have to kill them with Buster than the slow ones, that you're going to spend more time waiting for them on top.
Oh, I guess that's true, too. So unfortunately, KLM doesn't get any dupes, which isn't too surprising, really, because they're just frame-perfect tricks. And there's... even the best of them have a
sure
dupe.
What happened at Orrsa. Yeah, he got held up there at the end of the zip. Not sure if the magnet beam went away or...
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. It's not like he pulled up a menu or something, so I don't... I think he was trying to... like, you want to stop your zip a little bit early so you don't do a whole nother screen wrap. It saves a tiny amount of time. But I think he, like, overcompensated or something. KLM's having a little bit of trouble setting up this zip through this corridor.
Sitting on either side of it.
Yeah. This is where PBs go to die. I just hate that zip. So he's given up and he's gonna walk through the sprinkler corridor.
Most games have a something of shame, and I definitely heard the McMahon 1 community refer to that as the walk of shame.
Oh, I've always heard that in Wily 3, actually, but
it's a difficult zip regardless.
Orrsa gets it third try, so he's saving a lot of time here on KLM. But I don't think it's going to be quite enough, because KLM sets up the refight skip without a hitch. And he's on to Wily. Yeah, so that last zip is kind of the final boss of this game. Wily is just usually just a damage race, and in this category, since you die right before Wily, you take a death warp, you start with full health, so I wouldn't expect, hopefully I don't commentate curse these guys, but I don't expect too much to go wrong here. Alright, GG KLM, that look at like a 2103. I'm actually not in the SLR room though. Let me pop in there.
Well, 2116 on timer, so about a 12-second differential between them. Very nice GG to both. Good
race. Yeah, Orrsa definitely lost more than 12 seconds in that ice stage too.
So over the end.
Very good race. So he was making up time steadily throughout the rest of the game.
Of course, this is a best of 3, so we have race 2 coming up immediately after.
Yeah, so KLM gets awarded with a little Mega Man 5 reference by his timer. Right. It looks like they are ready to go already. They've both readied up.
No time for credits.
10 seconds. And we're off. Good luck, have fun. Well, of course, there's the streamer delay. But
a friendly reminder, Vic, that the SRL chat is real time, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, I know not to read their final times off of it, but I was just going with. Yeah, they're.
Right, there we go. Good luck to both.
I just wanted the audience to know that they had already started.
Orrsa with the 50k and KLM with the 90. Nice.
Yeah, that just a little bit of RNG built into this game where you have scores. I guess it's a relic of an arcade era where the score plays really no role so much, but it does slow you down a little bit, and it provides a handy visual cue for your zips. So I'm glad the score exists, even if it's rather useless.
Touche, actually. So Orrsa trying the corner jump, KLM opting to go around. If I'm not mistaken as well, what these runners are doing, I call them gap jumps. You may have a different term, Vic, but jumping up essentially inside the ladder gap. When you're below it, if you hold down, even though there's technically no ladder there, it lines you up with the ladder. So you basically fail it once if you don't get it your first try, and you hold down, and then you'll get the gap jump the second try.
Yeah, that's definitely a handy trick. And There's all kinds of little movement optimizations that you notice as you start running it, but you wouldn't notice like just watching the race. Like every time they climb up to the top of a ladder, they do a little hop because that allows you to get, you know, forward movement as soon as possible instead of actually waiting the 10 frames for the running animation to start.
In most cases, you'll see them avoiding the score bubbles, as you mentioned, because it beats up time. I think the one exception to that would also be the start of Ice Stage, where you would grab them to reduce the lag.
Yeah. Yeah, those big like mountains in Ice Stage cause a lot of lag. I guess it's like, I'm not really sure why, but you just want to get every pickup, even if it's a big health drop, which usually are the worst things to get. Will save you time to pick them up. There's a bit of an argument.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying there's a bit of an argument about whether candies are important to pick up or not. Like some people will jump over them and others will pick them up. They do lose you frames at the end of the stage because it counts up how many candies you picked up. But it also loses you frames to jump in this game because you're not moving at full speed.
Is things like health drops. You know, in a lot of Mega Man games, you'll avoid health drops, especially if you don't need them, because it'll take time to do the refill. Mega Man 1 has this uniquely special quality that even if you're at full health and you grab a health drop, it'll still take the time to fill, despite the fact that there's nothing to fill.
They are frame for frame. They're getting these screen transitions right at the same time. They both took the same number of tries on the corner jump. This is very tight.
The leg stage, I think, is a very do consistently well. There's a lot of little things that these runners are doing that you may not pick up just by watching them, but movement in the sync that we're seeing, it's nice to see.
Yeah.
It's not an easy stage.
Are they speed running or synchronized running? Ooh, KLM got a very clean top exit. And that sets them apart now. Ooh, KLM threw that beam a little high, had trouble getting onto it. Alright, so we're gonna see who's got the better climb now. KLM with bad luck with the big eye stomping him. So the big eye stomping him is gonna make this climb a little scary because mistakes will take damage and he can only make 2 mistakes. And I think that allows Orrsa to be a little more brazen in these beams, and it paid off. So he passed him right up.
Still very close, but yeah, Orrsa just... That was quite the climb. I don't have another way to describe it. That was very nice of them.
Alright, whether we get a game 3 is probably going to come down to Ice Stage. If Orrsa does his zip right, it looks like we might get one. Obviously, it's too early to call, but that's what really set the race. The theme of last race was the Ice Stage.
Let's not underestimate the Wily stages.
Oh, of course, of course. I like to call them early, though.
Calling it.
And hope for game 3. That's always my theme.
The game 3, I'm not gonna lie. But...
Orrsa takes a bit of a dip, but not too bad, as is KLM. Alright, Orrsa got it first try. Hopefully he did a full jump onto that beam, because that's what kind of manipulates your subpixel to allow you to get the screen wrap. And he got the screen wrap. Okay, Orrsa's a bit too high for a zip setup, but that's okay. That's as is KLM. I think they got the exact same pixel even. Let's see, KLM I think likes to go for this second wrap here. Yep, he threw one try at it and it was looked like 2 pixels high.
Opted not to grab the weapon refill, so still has enough to go for the corridor zips. There's one.
All right. KLM's got a bit of a moonwalk going in. All right.
Round long. 3 hits, just it goes by fast.
Yeah, the first 3 stages I think are the hardest, and then that's always the gatekeeper's ice stage. Not that fire is a picnic, but it usually doesn't go as catastrophically wrong as ice stage does. Oh, Orrsa's having trouble getting this zip pixel. There he goes. There you go. And just like that, we are tied again. Oh, and KLM does a little zip. Pulls out ahead. Very nice opener for KLM.
I feel like fire stage now more than ever kind of plays a more important role in time saves, like we just saw from KLM. Like getting that zip and seeing that, like I'm seeing that more often.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
Yeah, I think both runners are just going for short fire zips, which are just a lot safer. Because you don't want to cross paths with that bullet bill coming at you, because he can just knock you straight off your beam. But Orrsa gets a bit of a longer fire zip than KLM did. Okay, nice uneventful fight on KLM's side. Hopefully Orrsa gets the same.
I don't think how many lead changes we've seen in this race. There's at least been a few so far.
Yeah, I think I counted an 8-second difference there. Alright, KLM got through the first screen, or is getting through the first screen really cleanly. Looks like Orrsa will too. It's so nice to watch them go through those in iframes. It just looks so much smoother than getting smacked around by all those little cluster bombs.
Drazar in chat was hoping for a game 3. Let's not count these chickens yet. We've still got lots of race left. Get the quick setup, or if he's going to go for the ladder setup again.
Ooh, he's got it. Nice. And I liked that. He set a very long beam and was like in the middle of the room. It was kind of to like average out your time saves. Orrsa does kind of the same setup too. So had he missed, he would have been almost to the ladder anyway. Yeah, game 3 was called an ice stage.
I apologize. I'm just trying to look at chat. Referring to the Bible thumb.
the time here. It looks like they're 10 seconds apart now. Still 8 seconds? Okay. I'll trust chat. It's kind of an afterthought that I was looking for a timing cue. Ooh, KLM goes for that risky... I call it catching the early bus. I don't know exactly what it would be called, but where you get that little dunker thing on the right side of the gap. And,
Official term dunker thing?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that is official.
If not, that's what we're changing it to.
Orrsa, okay. Orrsa was a pixel high for the zip.
Yeah. Getting trolled by that miner. He can actually hit you as you're doing the screen transition, and you can fall in a way that you can't regain control and you land on those spikes. And Mega Man 1 iframes don't protect you against spikes. It's not a good time.
Yeah, so you'll see just people just mashing select through the screen transition just to avoid that. It's a horrible way to die. Alright, KLM with the invisible booty grab.
We saw it. We knew it happened.
And the same for Orrsa. Invisibut.
Mega Man community comes up with such colorful commentary and terminology.
No, in Mega Man 1, no, iframes do not protect against spikes. Every other Mega Man, yes.
It can really save your life. Or it can make you freak out because you know exactly what's going to happen and you still don't have a way to stop it.
Ooh, having problems with these hot fries. Okay, he's through now.
Easy. Let's state that though. Those jumps are not as easy as runners make it look. Orrsa threw them cleanly.
No, I don't know what the developers were thinking. Well, we welcome Mega Man 2 players to our tournament. Thank you for joining us.
All Mega Man players are welcome. Yeah, players.
Yeah.
Close to the 2, but he was just a little bit shy.
Mm-hmm. Orrsa's got the 2.
Orrsa makes it.
Just every beam you can save in a Wily stage just helps you out, avoids walks of shames later.
Mega Man 1 is a little bit cruel to newcomers in the fact that it in no way states that you need the magnet beam, but when you get to that point, you'll figure it out. KLM with the streamline setup again.
Yeah, because if you picked a random order to do the stages, I mean, you might not be able to grab the magnet beam when you play through casually. And then you get to that point, you have no idea what to do. It's just bizarre. But that is the only room that you actually need the magnet beam for. But it helps in so many places.
Immensely.
Oh, I forgot to count Dre's. They're still at 9 seconds. This is an amazing race. But they're so consistent and evenly matched. Yeah, luckily in this category you can select glitch damage, and that cancels your knockback. And so if you're at the edge of a pit where every other Mega Man would you'd be knocked off, in this game you can hit select if you're fast enough and you won't get knocked off.
And handy in a lot of places, actually. It's utilized not only to maintain iframes through additional enemies, but same thing like you saw KLM do there. He did the fire weapon swap, so you can also use start and it has the same effect.
Ooh, he did the SMB 3 pit where he missed the zip. He didn't grab the ladder, so he just gave up on it. But then he like walked over that pit twice, and you can just walk over one tile pits in this game. So he's just having trouble falling. It's just one of those finicky things. So the clone fight is usually uneventful for runners of this caliber, but if you're still working out the bugs of your timing, it gets really mean quickly, because that copy bot is just gonna charge at you and smack into you so often, and his iframes are just short enough to allow you to hit him before he hits you.
It's so close. It's 5 or 6 seconds by my count.
Orrsa is steadily gaining on KLM. That has to be making him nervous. With
yeah, the last game in the end stages as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to have the same result this time.
So Orrsa likes to set up it. He uses 3 beams in this stage, ideally, with his first screen set up, and KLM walks out the first couple screens, so he saves a beam. Ooh, Orrsa was too close to the wall when he fell through. He fell at the right pixel to do a buffer input, but he was too close to the wall, so the beam he fired wasn't able to be stood on. But he recovered nicely with a muscle memory timing.
As well, be sure to follow both of these runners. Both very excellent Mega Man runners. Not only Mega Man 1 runners, but KLM runs Mega Man 3. Orrsa runs many games as well. So.
Everything. Orrsa is the Triple M champion of the world, so that is every classic Mega Man game 1 through 10. I guess they're going to make additions to that soon. And then all the Mega Man X games, 1 through 7? And the Mega Man Zero games, I don't know how many of those there are, but they did a marathon stream where the racers ran all of those, and he won.
In category, but yeah, it's the 11 classic Mega Man games, the 8 X games, and the 4 Zero games. So, both of them for sure.
Yeah, but KLM is an excellent Mega Man 3 player, and that's where he came into the speedrunning world with that game. And he's been branching out to this one and a few others.
We should note as well for other players, there is an alternate setup to do this boss skip. Both runners have been using the magnet beam, but you can also use Bomb Man's weapon to set up the boss skip as well.
Yeah, since Bomb stays on screen a little bit longer than Magnet Beam, the mashing is... They have to mash start, and it's a little bit more forgiving if you're not a good masher.
It's a little longer mash, though, because you don't have the Magnet Beams to jump off of. You actually have to mash longer to reach the ceiling of the zip point. In my experience.
Okay, looks like KLM has finished with a 2023, taking Game 2. So congratulations to KLM moving on in the brackets.
Orrsa with a very respectable 2041, at least on timer as well.
That was an amazing race both times. So I guess it really came down to dupes, right? If I'm remembering correctly, it was the Wily 3 boss that really separated these runners.
For Orrsa, it was more so, I think, missing the zip. He had a couple extra beams that were flush against the wall. And he
that's true.
So he lost a little bit of time there.
But great games. This was a really fun race to watch. See if anyone wants to jump in and talk with us. So we'll...
Make sure you guys, if you don't already, I suspect you do, but if you don't already, make sure that you guys follow the wonderful Speed Gaming channels. Not just Speed Gaming 3, but 1, 2, and 4 as well. Fiesel's always, and he's very kind to host this tournament and all of the races that he does.
Alright, so I'll invite them in Discord to jump in our channel. We'll see if they want to speak with us.
KLM with the duck. So I noticed this earlier when KLM was streaming, he had it above his timer. I commented that I couldn't watch the run because I was too distracted by the duck. The duck is OP.
Sorry for my loud typing. Just trying to get KLM in here. KLM has agreed to do an interview. Oh, hello, KLM.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All
Congratulations.
right. Thank you.
How are you feeling about that?
I feel better if I could get some dupes for once. Jeez.
Well, you stayed true to practice. I was in there prior, and I saw you practicing, and you gave it a good few goes, and you're consistent.
Yeah, that's what I told you. I said, yeah, your luck can't be any worse than mine as far as the dupes go.
Be mine because that's exactly what mine was. So
yeah.
Good, good games regardless. Very, very solid times, very solid races on both parts, both very close. So, secret besides the duck.
I think the duck is
Lucky duck.
Yeah, I mean, the first race, that felt really good. I mean, the Elec and Ice stages were both just terrible in both of the runs. I mean, through Fire stage, like, both of those runs were, like, exactly the same. And, actually, I almost, the second race, I almost went the wrong way, picking Ice stage. I went left 2 instead of right 2, so that would have been a disaster.
That would have just been a bad boss fight, though.
Yeah, pretty much. And actually, the Buster firefight it's pretty free, but yeah, I mean, they felt good, except for, I mean, Wily 3, the dupes, and the second run was a race PB by about 9 seconds, so I'm really happy with that.
Nice. Congrats.
Hello, Orrsa.
Hey.
Welcome.
How are you feeling about that? You put up a great performance.
It's okay. Yeah, the second one was pretty good. First one I had some issues with, but yeah, the second race was good.
Yeah, watching you gain time on KLM, it was just a bad ice stage that you had. Every other stage, it looked like you were just encroaching up on his lead. It finished very, very strong.
Yeah, definitely.
So, KLM, you'll be moving on. Do you know who you'll be facing yet?
I don't know. I don't know if Cool Kid and Monkey did their race yet, but I know it's the winner.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that race is happening tomorrow. I'm racing at the same time with Andy. Yeah,
so, well, I mean, we'll see what anything that happen in here, but, you know, I don't know, we'll see.
Okay, what's next for you, Orrsa?
Man 2, perhaps?
Yeah, I've been playing Rockman 2 recently. And also, I want to be getting to Mega Man 6 as well pretty soon.
Nice.
No, excellent.
I think I saw that you got a very recent PB on Rockman 2 as well. You've been killing it recently, actually.
We were racing Rockman 2 a bunch at GDQ, and it was like the first time I'd actually ever played on difficult, so I'm pretty hyped about it.
Solid time from what I've seen, so I mean, GG on
yeah,
on
thank
that
you.
regardless.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually witnessed the end of Orrsa get a 1 through 6 any % PB over at GDQ, so he's awesome. So
I don't know how you can play multiple games at once. Like, they all have so, like, the different timings are so minutely different that it's really hard for me to keep straight.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. Especially like 2 to 3 into the sliding games is really, really difficult to transition.
Yeah, it's hard to tell unless you run the games. Like the jumps are just a little longer in one game or the other. It's very
subtlety between the slide differences as well. I mean, little subtleties like how long it takes before you can jump out of a slide between 3, 4, 5, for example. Not 6, of course.
Yeah, the thing that always kills me is like the little minute buster differences. Like in 4, you have to actually shoot to start charging. And that's not the case in 5 or 6, for example. So there's like little tiny things that are really, really hard to switch between.
Coming from Mega Man 4, I was having the worst trouble trying to jump onto a magnet beam in Mega Man 1 because I was trying to do it like a balloon jump, and the timings are just so a bit off.
Let's not gloss over the fact that Mega Man 1 and 2 have what I don't know, I can refer to only as slidey physics, where you have more of that stop on a dime pixel creep.
Oh
Makes
yeah,
sense to you guys.
Yeah, that always kills me. Like when I try to play Rockman 2 and go into like heat on the Yoku blocks, for example, I'm always sliding off of them.
And you're gone.
Yep.
So KLM, have you been working on what kind of strats you're going to be putting in for your race against possibly Cool Kid and maybe Tired Monkey?
No, not really. I mean, it'll just. I mean, I'll probably definitely go for like the Wily 1 zip, and that's probably it. Honestly, I mean, I'm just gonna do my best. Maybe try to get my 19 in one of those races, and just hopefully he's still sick and he's feeling like crap. So I feel like that's my only chance.
Yeah, you're due for a 19, right? You're a 2001.
2001, yeah, and the summer
geez.
best is at 1920. So yeah, it's anytime now. So yeah, if I can get it.
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say it's got nowhere left to hide, but it's got one place.
I'm gonna bring my lucky duck along with me and hope for the best.
The lucky duck of the 19. Okay, well, I really enjoyed watching you guys race. I'm glad you guys had me on for commentary, and
very much appreciated.
Yeah,
again, follow those runners, guys.
It was fun.
Yeah. Any parting thoughts, Orrsa or KLM?
Nope. Good luck in the next round, KLM.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was